Imagine controlling your sunshade with just one click. No more struggling with manual covers or baking under the sun while you drive. Today, I'm installing the Hansshow voice-activated sunshade for my Tesla Model Y. You can get 22% off the entire Hansshow website by using my code SUGAR. So Hansshow claims you can do this in 15 to 20 minutes, even without prior experience. So let's put that to the test. Of course, my husband will help me install the sunshade. Let's start by unboxing the kit. It comes with everything you need: the electric sunshade, the remote control mounting brackets, and a detailed installation guide.
All right, so let's get started with the install. I'm gonna start with the wiring harness first. Now, this is obviously what they call a Y connector. So there's a connector behind this panel here, and we're gonna unplug the original connector in the vehicle's wiring harness, and then we're gonna add this one in here, and then this line will feed up through this panel here and under this panel here, and then eventually connect with the unit on the top once we have the actual frame installed. So let's start by popping out this panel here. Just kind of go behind the rubber and reach in. Actually, this one might not really need this right now, but reach in here. Okay, there's a connector here. So just kind of pop that out. And let's see if I can reach in. Here we go. So that's where we're gonna tap in with the Y harness. So as you can see, you don't have to pop the panel out too much. Squeeze this clip here, disconnect. Now we tap in the harness like so. Click, put this in here, click, and feed it back in. And as I mentioned, we're gonna feed this kind of under here, pull back like this all the way through, and feed the wire just below the edge of this panel until it feeds up to the top. So as you're pulling back, you do want it to go under, so you can't really see very well, but there is this metal part, the red part obviously of the vehicle. So you want to kind of feed it underneath, so it's not laying here, but rather deeper within the panel. You can use this prying tool to kind of help you feed it in. There we go. Make sure it goes down, feed in, and downward. All right. Now we're gonna try to open up this panel to feed it in. Give it just a second on that. So now you move on to the top portion. Again, we already fed the wire up through here, through the black panel. Now you're going to the white panel, which is the ceiling of the vehicle. So with the pry tool, you can kind of go in under and you start to access it. I actually already popped it out of the clips, but what you do is you just reach in here, you add a little space, and you'll be able to see in, you'll be able to look in and see the clip. And then with the supplied screwdriver, what I did is I reached in into that area where the clip is and pushed upwards, and you pop out the clip. You won't hear the click now because I already popped it out. And don't mind this, I'll explain this plastic strip in just a second. So again, you find a clip, there's a clip here, you push up. There's another one roughly where this bend is in the sheet metal. So in this other area, you go down here and then you would pop it up and you'll hear a clip. Let's see if, well, can't show you now, but again, you just squeeze it in upward, you'll hear the click. That means it's disconnected. And this thin piece of plastic is provided in the kit. And what you do is you feed it upwards through here, and you want it to come out on the other end. Show you that in a second. And this is going to help you snake in the wiring harness. So there's some little bit of electrical tape, black electrical tape. What we're going to do is we're going to add the tape here. We're going to spin it around, attach it, and then feed this through, pull the plastic out. This will pop out on the other end, and then you'll be able to connect it to this other harness to plug them two together. So let's move to the inside to see where this plastic strip is coming out. So again, you hold this panel down and just feed it through, and you might not get it on the first try, the first push, but keep playing with it, jiggling it, and it'll pop out eventually on the other side. So let's see how that is. All right, so again, you wiggle it through and it'll eventually pop out on this end. And that way, again, you'll tape the harness to the other end, pull this through, and then once we have the frame of the shade up and installed, you'll pull that through and be able to connect the two connectors and then tuck in the harness back under this so it's not visible. So let's get that taped up to the piece of plastic and be able to feed that through. So you want to tape it in a manner where you don't want to do it this way, because you're going to kind of be fighting against the natural path. So you want it to be this way, and you want it to cover the plug here. So you want to start behind and move your way forward, because what you want is to kind of create a smoother, you want to create a smooth path as it's trying to go through here. It'll be smoother to go through. Again, if you did it the other way, you might get stuck and not be able to get it through to the other side. So now let's give it a tug and pull it out the other way. Okay. So you can just squeeze your fingers here. It's a little hard, but not too hard. But feed it here, pull this panel down, and try to pull this forward. Try to get it along from the other side. Get the plug over. Okay, so it's inside now. All right, so just once again, this panel has 4 clipping points. One right here, 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 and another one there. We only need this side, but as I was mentioning, this piece of plastic here with the harness, you want to feed it on the outside of this clip, of the furthest clip. Because I was trying to feed it over here, and it was too long a path. The harness wasn't going to pop out the other end. So you want it to be the shortest path possible. So feed it through the outside, so right about here, underneath this panel. It's already fed through, as you can see it hanging over there. And I'm gonna pull it on through. So now I'm gonna go through the inside and make that happen. But you wanna feed it, since the harness is thick, you wanna get it through here, which that should be enough. And then once you pull it, this wire should tuck in naturally as you're pulling it in between the panels. All right, so to help feed it along, you can just again feed your fingers in, grip the panel, and you should be able to start pulling this out. And there's the harness. That's about all you need. I'm gonna leave it like this hanging as we start to position the actual shade into the vehicle. So My wife is gonna probably put the phone down or set it up so that she can help me feed this in and get it mounted into the car. All right, so these brackets here come with the kit, obviously, and these need to get fit in here, one on each side. There's two of these, and this is where the frame will get bolted in, and it's gonna get held into place. So there is this soft felt, and this is what's gonna be touching up against the glass behind this panel here. So you don't have to worry about it damaging your glass or any part of the vehicle. And again, you just kind of peel down a little bit, just a little bit. My nails are just long enough to be able to do that. And then I think it should go a little further than that, but for now, actually, no, I think that's where they're supposed to go and be positioned. But again, once we get the frame in, we'll know exactly whether I gotta push it a little further back or not, but that's roughly where you put them for now. Let's get the frame installed.
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feed this frame up and then have my wife hold it in position. Guide it. So now this one. All right, so what I'm gonna do at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and connect the two harnesses together at this point in time. And then again, we're gonna be lifting this. I believe this side will go in first. It's got these metal hooks, very similar looking to the bracket that we just put in the front of the vehicle. They angle inward. So there's 3 of them here in the back, and they're gonna go into this panel groove here. Again, not sure if we're gonna be able to film it, but we're gonna connect this harness, slide in the hooks, and then position it upward and put the screws in the hooks in the front. There we go. All right, and put these hooks. Okay, so it can sit there for now. Let's move to the front and get those screws placed in their hooks. All right, so now here, so we're gonna push this back up. We're gonna push this up, and we want this aluminum looking plate to match up with this hole here. So like I said, we probably have to reposition these. We need to move that one. Oops, accidentally activated the shade. So I need to position that. It's a tight fit, so just kind of roughly right there. And it's roughly in position. So we need to get, lost that one. We need to get the screws into that with the black bracket over from your angle. It's gonna be over the aluminum, so the aluminum goes behind the bracket. Then get this placed in there, screw that in, and we'll be one step closer to having the shade installed. So you don't want to screw it in all the way and tighten it fully, so that you have better leverage to position this other side to get them both in. Once you have both screws in and almost tightened, you can make sure that you have them angled correctly and then give them the final tighten. Okay, so now we're actually going to swap places so I can get the screw on that side, and she's going to help me put the right amount of pressure to be able to line up the hole for the screw.
Still need me to hold?
Got it. Okay. All right, so the last piece to the install is this felt strip with adhesive. And what this is for is this is actually going to cover up, if you can see up here, you see the shiny aluminum, you see the screw with the bracket. So this is meant to cover that up like so and make it look more like a factory unit, factory it came factory installed with this sunshade. So you want to get started by just peeling back a little bit of the adhesive, not everything, so that you can align it. It is almost a perfect length for covering up that aluminum piece of metal there. All right, so just pull back a little bit, about 2 inches worth or so. Hold the piece of sticker that's with it. And again, you can kind of feel with your left hand, with my middle finger here, back as far as it can go where that piece of aluminum ends. Sorry, I guess I need a little more. So about 4 inches worth or so. Kind of feed that in to where your finger, as far as your finger can go. Right about there. So again, with my fingertips, I can feel that it's just barely on top of the metal strip, the aluminum strip. Then you can go and start to apply some pressure with your knuckles like this. Get it fitted in and then start pulling back on the adhesive about an inch or so at a time. More pressure with your knuckles. Just keep going down. Right, so that's pretty much it. Just going back one more time. Make sure it touched all the surface. All right, so the install and the components of the unit are pretty much in. You're just going back here and making sure you clip everything back in that you unclipped as you were installing the wiring harness. So there's that clip here. Kind of heard that clip. And get those clips back in. Got one out here. That one just slid in. It didn't really click, but you can kind of hear it. Then you got this one. Okay, that's it.
The electric sunshade from Hansshow adds both functionality and style while keeping your car cool, especially during the summer. If you're thinking of upgrading your Tesla, grab yours now and use my code SUGAR to get 22% off the entire Hansshow website. See you in the next video. Drive safe and stay cool.